Welcome to another episode of the Voices of AIS. Today, I'm with Pavita Ma'am, who is also my mom, and I'm going to be asking her some questions that I usually don't ask at home.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me here, Kaveesh, and thank you so much to Alphabet for having me here as well. Of course, Kaveesh, you definitely will not be asking me these questions at home. You neither have the patience nor the time. So, start.
So, what is something that's really cool about your job that most people don't know about?
Something that not many people recognize is dentists can actually find out who you are, what you are, and how you're feeling just by looking at your mouth. You know, we are like some oral detectives.
So, like, you're saying that you can find out someone's emotions by just like examining their teeth?
Yes, I can. So, do you think we should try that out sometime?
Oh no, I'm really scared. If I just go to a dentist, they can find out basically
But it's
everything about me.
confidential. It's confidential. Don't worry. It stays with us.
That's really cool. If you had to compare dentistry in general to an MYP subject, what would it be?
I would like to say IDU, which is an interdisciplinary unit, but actually speaking, I don't think there is any one particular subject that I can compare it to. Maybe I would like to say MDU, which is a multidisciplinary unit, because dentistry is an amalgamation of physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, economics, and a lot more.
So, since you said IDU first, what do you think would be like the two best subjects to put together?
Probably I would say, I mean biology is anyways there, but I think I would like to add physics, chemistry and visual arts.
So, like, how do you think you can incorporate physics into this?
Oh, a lot, you know. There was one subject that I probably thought I'm done with once I finished my 12th grade, but unfortunately it follows me till today, and that's physics. And I was not a great student at physics. So yeah, so from your reflection, your refraction, your light, the parameters of light, photography, you know, all this is part of dentistry.
That's really cool, like how like so many subjects can play a part in just one job.
Yes, it is, you know, dentists are called as engineers, they are called as artists, doctors as well, so yes.
So, in your experience, what was like one extremely funny moment with a child?
Okay, when you ask me this question, yes, I do have a lot of kids who have phobia for dentists, and slowly it's wearing off, you know. People are not so scared of dentists as they used to be. But I remember an incident about, I think, 15 years back when I had a kid of about, not a child, you know, she was actually a preteen who was so scared of dentists that we literally had to remove a shaking deciduous tooth. A deciduous tooth is nothing but a milk tooth. Literally, her sitting on the floor because she was so scared to sit on a dental chair. We didn't know what to do. So, and she went to a corner of the room and she basically sat down there. And I told her, "Are you okay to sit here?" She said yes. And so we removed her tooth basically in that corner. I mean, it stays in my mind even today.
That requires so much patience, which I clearly don't have.
You clearly don't have, but you should know that I have.
So that's actually extremely funny how almost a preteen or a teen is so scared of dentists. So, dentists always talk about brushing twice and continuously brushing. So, what would be like one habit you would like to give to the Alphabet community, our students?
Oh yes, you know what? I was just talking about this to Kavita ma'am some time back, and I think that is time management. I think that's an underrated skill. And as IB students, it's really important that you organize yourself and manage your time effectively. You think it's just 24 hours, but it's actually 24 hours. So if you're going to manage your time effectively, I'm sure you can actually achieve more.
And what would be like one habit which you could relate to dentistry, which you would also like to give us, which is not like brushing twice or anything related to that?
Probably not keeping things to the last minute. I think all of you have the habit of pushing things, keeping them till the last minute. I think being more organized, studying every day probably would help.
What part of an IB parent do you secretly enjoy the most?
Right now, what's happening right now? I enjoy this, you know. As an IB parent, It has been such a beautiful journey because there is so much of involvement of a parent in the school life of their child. It's almost sometimes like I'm going through that process again of learning. So I think you, me sitting here in this podcast, it's a beautiful moment. It's a memory for lifetime. And I must say that it's happening only because of IB. So thank you.
You're always updating your skills. What is something new you learned this year which made you feel like a complete newbie again?
Okay, I'm in the process of learning that skill. I'm not a novice at it, and that is psychology. Yeah. I've just started my journey to becoming a psychologist as well, and that is something that I think would do wonders to me and to my profession as well as I treat my patients. So looking forward to that.
So that's going to make your ability to spot emotions even greater.
Exactly.
If you could design an MVP unit called the Science of Teeth, what would be the wildest experiment you'd put in it?
Alright, so let me first tell you about a realistic experiment that I would like you to have. And that is, you people consider sports drink good, right? I mean, when we talk about Coke, Pepsi and all that, and then we compare it to sports drink, I hear from all your friends that sports drink is so good. It has less calories, it has absolutely nothing harmful in it. Am I correct? So the experiment should probably involve you immersing a natural tooth inside a cup of sports drink and see actually what happens. Then you would know how harmful even the sports drink are.
So what do you think would actually happen in that situation?
The enamel would get disintegrated. You will be able to see particles of the enamel floating on top in a couple of days, So I think that is a realistic experiment, but you asked me for a wildest experiment. You people create so much of drama outside, You're all dramatic in your own ways. But do you know that every time you create a drama, your teeth actually responds to? Like to your feelings, to your emotions and everything?
How is that possible though?
Yes, so probably that would be a wildest experiment. If a tooth can actually talk to you and tell you how it feels when you're angry, how it feels when you're actually enjoying that yoga bar, which you consider it very safe, or when you're actually breaking open a walnut with your teeth, or trying to open something else with your teeth.
That would be really funny to see, just seeing the reaction of your teeth itself in different situations.
I really wish AI can do something about it and teach these kids as to how teeth responds to emotions. That would be the wildest experiment.
That would be actually a really cool experiment.
It is, and I wish I can be part of it. Maybe we should do something like that soon.
What is one myth about teeth that you really want to end forever?
I think the most important myth is you do not have to take care of the milk teeth that has decay in it. You know what is decay, right?
Can you explain a little more on it?
Decays are nothing but cavities for which fillings are required. So it is a myth not just in laymen, but it is also a myth among so many doctors and pediatricians as well. And they say milk teeth are anyways going to fall off. So why even undergo the process of filling them up in the first place? But it's such a disastrous thing to do. So I think I really would like to see a day where this myth ends and people realize that healthy milk teeth is actually important for healthy adult teeth as well.
Wow, I actually never knew that. So that is...
Thank God you did not have decay in your milk teeth.
If your life were an alphabet learner profile, which one would it be?
Your learner profiles are something like caring, and all that.
Balanced, principled, thinker.
I think it would be balanced because over caring is also not great. Over knowledge, knowledge about something that's too much is also not great. So I think a balanced reaction to everything. We need to understand balance is needed in life too. So I think I would probably associate myself to that learner profile, being balanced.
So I can see that because you just stated that you want to take psychology as well from apart from being a dentist. So which shows that you technically want to balance off your lifestyle by understanding more things, but not too much in the first place.
Correct. I think it's very important, because I see people with different kind of emotions, and I think I need to be balanced as well to accept those emotions, acknowledge them, so that I can actually treat and care for them in a better way.
Could you share the moment or experience that first inspired you to pursue dentistry as a career?
See, I wouldn't call it as a first moment. There were many things that inspired me over a period of time. But I think I should talk about one particular incident which actually gave us the impetus to perform better. You know, we thought we should just keep doing much better than what we are today. I think that was a reaction from our dad. Yeah, you know, and the daughter had come to us with certain issues with her teeth, and a very pretty looking daughter, but unfortunately her teeth were slightly malaligned, very mildly and subtly malaligned, and for which smile correction was done in the United States. But unfortunately the dad felt the daughter looked actually much different after the smile correction was done. And when they came to us, their main thing was, you know, the first sentence that he told us was, I want to see my daughter the way she was. And, you know, once after we understood what she required and everything, when we completed her smile enhancement procedure, look, I'm not using the smile correction because she really did not require any correction. It was more like an enhancement procedure. We looked at the dad, and there were tears in his eyes, you know, and he said, oh mine, this is the daughter that I know and I knew, and I think something changed in between. So thank you so much for just giving me back my daughter. So I think this kind of inspired us a lot.
So an emotion inspired you to continue or pursue dentistry?
Yes, pursue it in a better way. Yeah.
Okay. So how has the field of dentistry changed since you started your career?
A lot, of course, with technology. Of course, I think who we are and what we are remains constant. Compassion, empathy, sympathy are all core ideals of being a dentist or a doctor for that matter. But I think technology has taken over so much even in dentistry, and certain procedures that were considered painful, I'm sure you know, right? We have the lasers, which makes the procedures, I would not say painless, but definitely much less uncomfortable.
Does your clinic offer opportunities like job shadowing, internship for high schoolers? And if yes, how do you think it will benefit them?
Yes, I think shadowing is a very important aspect of choosing a career, and I'm glad that your school is planning to do something like that. And yes, it can be done. The clinic can offer opportunities where the students can come and do shadowing. So I'm sure it will benefit them, because you know what is shadowing? You know what is a job?
Can you just explain a bit more on what job shadowing is?
See, job shadowing is you just move around with that person through the day. So you basically understand what it is, you know, from the time a patient comes into the clinic, what all actually happens, you know, how you asked me whether communication is important, right? So you will understand how important communication is, how important a body language is, and how important it is to be empathetic or sympathetic towards a patient. So I think shadowing really gives you an overall idea as to what actually happens in the epicenter of the job.
So this can also help in developing like social skills and other skills which can help you in your future careers as well. So that's what you think, right?
Of course, but before you decide to do shadowing of a profession, it is important that you understand a little bit of the basics about that job, you know, before you come for the shadowing.
What message would you give to students who dream of a healthcare career but are unsure where to start?
All right, so yes, it is a big step to take, because it is not something that you can quickly change professions. You can't say that let me do my MBBS. Of course, that is also happening nowadays. I'm not saying no to it. People are becoming musicians after becoming doctors. But that said, I would really prefer that you have a clear path that is there in your mind before you choose healthcare, because it is something that involves a lot of passion, a lot of focus, and a lot of commitment. But I would suggest that it is not done in, you know, just a day or 2 days. I think somebody who's really keen about taking healthcare needs to shadow that person, whether it is going to be in a hospital setting or in a clinic setting. I think it has to be done over a period of some time, so that they really understand the intensity of the job.
So you think that they should first observe on how other people do their specific profession or a part of healthcare.
Correct.
And then try themselves. So they're basically learning each step.
Correct. I think you understand, right? Like how intense it can get at times. So, and you will know whether you as a person, you're prepared to take that step towards your career.
Do you think you'd ever be open to mentoring a student?
Of course, and I think I've already done it before in your 5th grade for your PYP project, right? And I had a wonderful time, I must say. Kids were brilliant and I learned so much during that process. And mentoring is something that I enjoy doing. I love teaching, you know that, right? I keep pulling you, saying, let me teach you. Yeah, which you don't agree to. So, but yes, I would be open to it.
So, when you talked about PYP, I'm pretty sure it was PYP exhibition where you helped a specific group on, I think, life
Correct.
underwater.
Correct.
So, how do you think you can mentor someone according to maybe dentistry? Like, what steps would you might take?
I think that's a beautiful question, Kaveesh. I think first I would like to understand whether they are passionate about dentistry. You know, because you didn't ask me this question, but at this point I would like to tell you, see, the awareness towards this profession was not so much, in 19 years back when I joined my dental school or dental college, right? And all of us moved towards MBBS. I mean, we all want to become cardiologists and neurosurgeons, you know, what not, right? So even I did have that aim, and I loved internal medicine, general medicine, and I always wanted to become one. But it so happened that one of our relative, one of our grandfather was a dentist, is a dentist, and that pushed me towards this field. And I learned about dentistry only after I joined the college. But nowadays kids are smart. They need to be aware of everything upfront. So I think first I would like to sit with them, talk to them, understand, explain to them not the advantages of being a dentist. I think it's very important to know the other side of being a dentist, you know, the negative aspects. I'm sure every profession has one, you know. So once you understand what are the negative aspects of the profession, and even then if you're still passionate about doing it, I'm sure you will be successful.
So, do you also think you can teach them about like the main skills, like you talked about communication and all of those, while you're mentoring them?
Of course, I would like to teach them about communication.
So, the final question. How did you end up choosing alphabet for my schooling?
I thought you would ask me this in the beginning, you didn't. So you've reserved it for the end. Good going. So Kaveesh was 10 months old. So this is basically for the others.
A very long time back.
Yes, and we were looking, he's a single child, so we were looking out for some nice play school where he can interact with other kids and understand sharing. And so we went to a couple of schools and we saw his expressions in and around Arepuram and Mylapore, and then we entered alphabet. I turned and looked at this boy who was just hardly 10 months, and there was a smile on his face, you know. The atmosphere of the school felt beautiful, vibrant. Much more than that, you know, it felt safe. And turning and looking at a 10-month-old with a smile on his face, I think at that point of time I decided that that's going to be my son's school. Alphabet grew as he grew, and yeah, he's now a 13-year-old in the same school. Even now, I still feel very safe amidst this vibrant, beautiful community of Alphabet.
I have so many memories, funny moments, and many more in this school, and it's really fun. So, thank you for this interview, Pavitra ma'am, and it was really cool to know everything about you.
Yeah, actually, I think he's learned much more about me during this podcast than he did in his last 13 years being my son at home. So I must say thank you again to Alphabet, to the entire AIS podcast team for having me here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in another episode of Voices of AIS.